See, we're not gonna, because it doesn't sound
anything like it.
Do you hear what? It's not good. AI can't tell bad singing from just normal talking. Hi everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Jake.
And,
And today we're going to be talking about the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest character, the Swashbuckler. There is quite a bit of information to go over for this character, so we're just going to ignore the fact that Krug hasn't gotten used to calling me by my real name.
It's just so few syllables compared to Indigo.
Similar to how we did the Witch, which is, Witch. We didn't go over any of like the standard stuff of what levels you get what.
We're just trying to get you an idea of how the character, why the character is what it is. We're not trying to go over, oh, you get will saves at this level instead of this level, and that's cool, but we don't care about that. We're just trying to look at what makes the Swashbuckler the Swashbuckler.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said from the beginning.
Its key stat is going to be dexterity. It's going to have acrobatics as its stat that it's skill that it is trained in.
There you go.
You're also going to be given an additional skill that you're going to be trained on based off of your Swashbuckler style.
Swashbuckler style sounds a little bit like Rogue Racket. Because you see the alliteration both.
Yeah, I mean, those two classes kind of combine, but it has so much level of uniqueness that I feel weird even comparing them. On top of that, you're also going to get 4 plus your intelligence, so that's kind of where it steps away from that rogue, where it's
you
like,
are not the skill monkey.
But it does get 10 plus your con for hit points.
That is really good.
Yes, you're gonna have training in simple weapons, martial weapons, and unarmed attack. An expert in perception. Your defenses are going to be trained in light and unarmored defense.
Okay.
The idea behind the Swashbuckler is like piratey kind of theme. Someone that's able to move around and be agile. Should it be an expert in fortitude and reflex, or should it just be reflex? Will kind of fits, but so could fortitude.
Sure.
And everyone's like, nope, leave it the way it is. Stop it.
The first choice you're going to make is your Swashbuckler style, like we alluded to. Either the 3 options you're going to have are Braggart, Fencer, and Gymnast. Each style is going to give you 3 things. It's going to give you a skill that you're trained in. It's going to give you a bonus point of panache when you roll initiative with the skill that it gave you. And it's also going to give you a way to gain panache during an encounter with the skill that it gave you. Without this, it wouldn't have a way to gain resource, which is important.
And we're gonna go into panache after we go over these 3, because it kind of was this weird like situation where it's like one explains the other one, but you can't understand the other one unless you read. It was like this weird thing.
Yeah, that sentence makes sense.
Now, the first one we're going to be going over is the Braggart, where you are going to be trained in intimidation, and you're going to gain a panache if you actually roll initiative with intimidation. You will gain panache anytime you successfully demoralize someone. That gives it a lot of theme. Intimidation. Be a dick. I mean, intimidation.
The Fencer is going to give you training in deception. It's also going to allow you to gain a panache when you roll initiative with deception. You're going to gain a panache during combat if you feint or create a diversion successfully.
I like Fencer.
Yeah, that is good. I love this part of it. I'm assuming that the rest of it is going to make me like it less as an option for Krug to like branch out into.
The third option is going to be Gymnast, where you're going to be able to gain panache if you use athletics.
Oh, athletics.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be acrobatics.
Athletics as your initiative. You're trained in athletics. If you grapple, shove, or trip a foe, you're going to gain a panache.
Remember what I said? Yeah, but okay, I'm choosing Gymnast now. Give me Gymnast.
I want to see how this archetype is going to work.
Dude.
When you get into a rogue archetype, you're not gaining a rogue racket.
Sure, I get that.
So I don't think you're going to be gaining...
But you might, though.
You might. Let's figure out what panache is, because we've already talked a ton about it.
Hint, hint, Paizo. Oh my god!
I hope you use that just for, like, anything. You like panache, don't you?
Yeah. Panache is a resource that you use as a swashbuckler. Having panache, just the act of possessing a panache point, is going to give you a bunch of benefits. You get a 5-foot status bonus to your speeds, all of your speeds, not just your like ground speed. If you have a fly speed or a swim speed, you get those too. You deal extra precision damage if you have the precise strike class feature, and you gain a +1 circumstance bonus to any check that would cause you to gain panache on success. You can also spend panache to do what are called finishing moves. And those moves, unlike other things in the game, are just going to drain your panache. Don't think of panache as a resource in the same way that like a spell slot is a resource or focus points are a resource. Do I have panache? Do I not have panache? Those are the two states of panache.
Not only are there ways for you to gain panache based off of your style, just doing like cool and really interesting, fun, thrilling things, your GM will be like, yeah, you got panache.
Yeah.
I need to do these outlandish things almost.
Which like that in and of itself raises some like red flags, for lack of a better term. This has the potential to like throw this character wildly out of balance in one way or the other. If GMs like lean either really, really generously with panache points or really, really conservatively with the panache points. That's why I'm glad there's like a rules as written mechanical like thing.
As a player, I know I want to have panache, and there is a mechanical way of doing this. But there's also ways that the GM can just be like, you know what?
If you just risked taking 4 times your health and damage to do something neat, like you deserve something for that, you know?
Yeah, and like I think that thematically a lot of it is like stuff like, oh, I grab the rope and I, cut the rope down and I causes me to swing across the room because the counterweights are off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then cue me singing the
dun, 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 dun.
I wonder if I layer those on top of each other, if they're gonna harmonize.
Dun, 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 dun. Probably not.
What if they do though?
Next is the precise strike. If you're performing a strike with an agile or finesse melee weapon, and you got panache, you're going to be doing additional damage.
Yep.
Whenever you use a finisher, you're going to be doing 2d6 damage with your precise strike.
Right.
Now, those dice go up at different levels. So 5th, 9th, 13th, and 17th, you're going to be going up, 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 and up. If you're not going to be using a finisher move and you still want to do the extra damage, you're going to be gaining a bonus to your damage equal to the number of dice that you would have rolled if it were a finisher.
At level 17, you're going to be doing 6 bonus damage if it's not a finisher, 6d6 damage
if it is.
If it is.
It's allowing you to do additional damage. It's keeping you with your weapon type that.
And it's giving you more benefits to having panache.
You know that this character is really, really strong in this situation because they've got panache. Now, what's going to happen if you put them in a situation where they can't gain that panache? Like the scene in Court of Corvids where you're all in this jail. If one of you was a swashbuckler, you would have absolutely not had a panache.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, this character is now significantly weaker. They've got to do something to gain.
How do I give them a panache?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
I think this is a good time to take a break and talk about Court of Corvids, which you should be watching right now.
Oh, right now. Not right now. If you're just watching this video.
I'm not going to say much more because Krug doesn't know what's going to happen.
I don't know what's going to happen yet. I wasn't
you
telling
like
you guys that. I was telling
like
this
the hype man. Like, because Krug doesn't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. If you did not watch the first season, that's okay. William, who is one of the players on Court of Corvids, actually came over and we filmed a catch-up video.
Hello, I am Rami Ashwilo.
Kind of give everyone a reminder of how and what happened. If you still want to go back and watch all it, I'm not going to tell you no.
I'm going to tell you yes. Do that.
Now that we have taken that commercial break, let's go into what finishing moves are.
The most basic finishing move, the one that everybody's going to have access to at level 1, it's called Confident Finish. It's basically going to allow you to make a strike and add the failure effect. What?
That's just a fucking horrible name.
You're gross.
Yep, I'm finished.
Buy AdSense money.
Keep going. Confident Finish.
When you use Confident Finish, you're going to add the following failure effect to the strike. You deal half your precise strike damage to the target. Guaranteed precision damage finisher.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to do damage.
You can't miss.
Yeah.
I mean, you can miss, but you can't miss and deal 0 damage. You don't deal 0 damage with this, unless they have resistance. Okay, but never mind.
Yeah,
They could be immune to precision damage, and then you deal 0 damage, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, the idea
Don't
behind...
get sassy with me. If you think about this thematically, it makes sense. You are ending the fight now. That is the finishing move. You are using all of your resources to get one last hit in and just end it. If you don't end it with this move, you don't have panache anymore, and you need to get panache back. Doesn't matter if I miss, this fight's gonna end, and I won't even need that panache because there's no more fight.
I think it's a very cinematic aspect of it because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, when that character in the movie is like, oh, I'm putting all of my effort and they fail,
Yeah.
right? Of course, they always, it's like a single cut or something
Yeah.
like that. They're like, oh, fuck. And they're like all out of energy and they're just like, and the other guy like beats on them for a little while. I don't know. I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah.
Those are all of the things that you're going to get as a default. You're going to start with all of that, and then you're going to, as you level up, you're going to be gaining additional features, which we're going to be going over next. And then the last thing that we're going to be going over is the options. Some of the options. We're not going to go through all of the feats because Swashbuckler was the one that had the most amount of feats out of all of the playtest options. And then not only did it have the most, the number one complaint about it was there weren't enough options. First thing you're going to be getting is at 3rd level, which is the opportunistic retort. If someone is attacking you and makes a critical failure against the attack against you, you can actually use that opportunity to turn around and attack them or attempt to disarm him.
I think when you have a feature that relies on an opponent critically failing something, I think it has to be optional because you have to be building your character to take advantage of that specific kind of check.
Oh, you're saying
right?
that this should be something that is feat related versus being like a guaranteed thing.
Like a class feature. I don't think class features should rely on opponents critically failing because I need to be thinking, okay, well, I have a super high AC. I've specifically built this character to have a super high AC, like maybe slightly higher than the average this character would normally have. Maybe this is going to happen more often for me and it's worth me taking. But if you're like, no, I'm super glass cannon, I don't care about my AC, like my party's got it for me, I have like a really good healer, maybe there's 2 of them in the party,
Sure.
I don't need AC, but I have this thing, nobody's ever going to critically fail strike against me, so why would I take it? I think it's a weird thing.
I think with the idea of you being trained in light and unarmored and the fact that your key stat is going to be dexterity, you already are going to have a higher than average AC.
Sure.
On top of that, every roll is a 5% chance of this happening.
Yep.
Well, I agree with what you're saying is like, it's not like as a level 3 character, or you're going from level 2 to level 3, that's not a satisfying thing. You're like, well, if this thing happens to me that I don't have control over, happens to me, great.
Yep.
Which I super agree with. I don't think it's like worthless, but
No, and I don't think it's worthless either. I just think it's more satisfying to pick these than it is to be given these. That's all.
I think the idea is that because you're getting 2 things at level 3, that might be where it's kind of making up. It's like, yes, we understand that this is a thing that is based off of how your GM rolls, and not necessarily how you decide to play.
And the GM can fudge, and like, come on.
The big bad, like they roll a nat 1, they're like,
You're
ah,
like,
fuck.
oh,
And then cool, they're disarmed.
And that having been said, disarming something is really hard.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
At 3rd level, you have, this is monk territory. What are you doing? Vivacious speed, which is basically just going to increase the movement speed bonus you get from having a panache point. It's going to start off at 10 feet, and then it's going to, every 5 levels, go up by 5 feet. Did I get that right? Nope. It's every 4 levels. Whoops.
At level 9, you're going to get Exemplary Finisher, where you're going to be gaining...
No giggling here? You're not going to giggle on this one? You're just going to giggle for me?
Yeah, because that one was a confident finisher. This one was just like...
Imagine the
You
director.
finished. Good job. Dependent on the choice that you made in the very beginning of which of your swashbuckler styles are going to be, you're going to be gaining a finisher like bonus, basically. For the braggart, if your enemy is temporarily immune to demoralize, guess what? They're not anymore. All right.
You just spam demoralize them. As the fencer, you're going to be able to make yourself flat-footed until the start of your next turn.
For gymnast, you're going to be able to take a free step after you finish your finisher.
Nice. After you finish your finisher. Also, nobody make Liberator comments down below. Don't do it. Don't do it. At level 19, you get a class feature that basically lets you ignore a whole bunch of the restrictions from your previous features. You just do everything for free. I have to read it to you though, it's long. When you make a strike with any of your finishers or retorts using an agile or finesse melee weapon or agile or finesse unarmed attack, you can choose to give the strike the failure effect from your confident finisher feat, including the increase from precise finisher if you have that feat. Just permanent free damage. As long as you are not using a weapon with which your character has absolutely no experience or like brings no value to your character whatsoever.
Hey, I picked up this like giant hammer.
Put that on the ground and use your fists because honestly, the free damage is really good.
Yeah, you're getting a flat 6 at that point.
Every single strike because you could just choose to do it. Why would you not choose? The only reason you would not choose to do it is if
There isn't one.
you didn't want to win. Maybe you're trying to throw. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's super hyper specific situations, but
It's nice to give you the option.
yeah. All right, now we're going to go over a few options of feats. I just was like that one. The first one that I picked was the tumble behind feat, which is at level 1. If you successfully tumble through a foe and use your athletics to get to the other side of them, or acrobatics, I don't remember which one it is. Hey, Krug's going to correct me.
It's acrobatics.
Ah.
See, the good part about editing the videos is that if I'm wrong there, I can just cut that part out.
The foe that you tumble through is now considered to be flat-footed until your next attack before the end of your turn. So if the last action that you take is to tumble through, well, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, so you actually get to tumble through the enemy and make them flat-footed for one attack, which I think is pretty great.
Yeah.
It's a double option, because you're not going to be as this character, you're not going to have so much health, and your AC is not going to be so high, and you're not going to be able to spin attack.
Yeah.
You're very much a single target. I'm going to do a butt ton of damage to you. So if you get surrounded, you're like, cool, I'm going to get out. I think this is a pretty decent feat to choose, especially at level 1.
Next option's a level 4 feat called Swaggering Initiative, because wow, that name though, oh my goodness.
Also, the words that they chose was also why
I'm
I
gonna
chose
read
this.
the first sentence to you. You bring your verve and swagger to every fight and somehow be even an ambush with the weapon in your hand. Basically, that translates to you get +2 circumstance bonus to initiative, and you get to use interact to draw your weapon, which is like, those are two great things, especially if you were like a strict rules as written group and you're just like, oh, well, you didn't say you had your weapon out, so you get to, which some people enjoy playing that way. That's totally cool. This feat is just good.
I like this. I like the Swashbuckler as a whole. I think it's very interesting. It's definitely not my top of the playtest, but I definitely feel it's probably yours.
I think it is. I really do think that like this kind of martial class that feels so monkey, it's not bursty and it's more like manipulating the battle and waiting for the correct moment to finish it. And just like, oh God. And just like like you were saying, the theming and like the flavor behind that kind of feat that just like removes all of these benefits from your character. The opportunity cost is so high at the end of the game. You're losing so much passive benefit.
Except for level 19, then you don't care.
Well, no, you still like lose the moves.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's great. If there's an archetype for this, you better believe that we're going to end up on a ship at some point and Crew's going to learn about swashbuckling because, ooh.
I'm completely okay with that, and I hope you are too.
Not like it matters. It's going to happen anyways.
Let us know down in the comments how mad you are if Crew
About Crew being a swashbuckler.
No, head down in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are on the Swashbuckler. Are you excited about this class coming out? What are some of the things you liked or didn't like?
How disappointed are you that it can't magically control its own hair?
Like the witch, which is awesome. While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button if you liked the video. If you didn't, you can hit the down button. It either affects us, and they're both positive.
Hit the down vote button 2 times to show us that you really dislike it.
Yeah.
I stole that from another YouTube channel. I feel bad now.
Did
I don't
you?
remember who it was. Who was it?
I don't know. Look, if you let us know who we stole
Put a link to the YouTube channel.
and then don't hit the bell icon unless you want to see all of our content, which there is a lot of it. We have so much content coming out in the next few weeks. It's insane. We have 5 days a week. We're going to be live streaming at the end of the month. We've got Clear Skies, which is a Star Trek RPG show that we have just announced that will have just started when you watch this. We have our Hijinks and Handlebars, which is Kids on Bikes. Then we have Court of Corvids on Wednesdays. We have Thursdays off because no one wants to compete with Critical Role. And then
Not wrong.
And then Fridays are going to be our Filthy Casual Fridays.
Yeah.
Where we're actually going to be coming in and playing video games. We're going to be playing...
chit-chatting.
Yeah, just like
So that we can talk to people, because that's something that we can't do when we play RPGs, because that would just destroy the whole experience for us and you.
Exactly. So it's just going to be an interactive show where we can talk with you, hang out with you. We're going to play some random games. It's just basically a good time for you. If you feel like you can't get a hold of us through the millions of ways in which you can on social media, this would be a really good way to do it
You
live.
said social media, which is a combination of social media in millions of ways.
Yep. And then at the end of the month or the beginning of February, we have Long Beach by Night, which is returning, which I'm very, very excited about as well. So we've got all of that plus GameGorgon. Plus, there is some really exciting stuff going on in February, which I can't announce yet, but there is a lot of really, really fun stuff. 2020 is going to be a huge year.
We're eventually going to be producing so much content that it'll be mathematically impossible for you to watch all of it. You're going to have to devote your entire life to watching our content. It's going to consume you, and you're going to end up dehydrated and starving on your living room floor trying to continue to watch content.
Just thinking about whether or not that would be physically possible for us to do.
We would just have to hire a bunch of people.
Yeah, but there would be no way that we would be able to have any control over what content.
That's true.
There'd be teams of people like, yeah, let's just put that piece of content on. There'd be. Anyways, we have talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
A bunch of different stuff. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, you can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
Yeah, not Jake QT because that's weird. And then you can talk to me on Twitter at KrugQT because I'm still Krug and I'm always going to be Krug and I'm never changing my name to Jake.
I'm good. That would be weird. You don't seem like a Jake.
No, I don't either.
Maybe a Jacob, but not a Jake.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. Weirdly enough.
And if you want to get a hold of us on QueueTimes as a whole, we have a bunch of social media over here. I believe I memorized it. Here is Patreon, where we had talked about our Court of Corvid's Patreon. That is $5. If you don't want to give $5, or if you want to give us more money, that's also an option.
Yeah.
But
pretty sure that text box goes real far. If you're interested.
Yeah, and if you want to see additional tiers on our Patreon, I would also love to hear what you guys think. Like, oh, hey, it'd be really nice if you could do this. I don't know what it is.
That's why we're asking you.
Yeah, so I think I've talked enough.
We've talked a lot. Let's buy. Let's buy now. Buy. Oh, what do you think about this? Tell me that. What do you think about this stuff? Should this be a different color?
Oh, see, I chose. I thought, but cut.